Dear attendees, thank you for joining us today. It will be an amazing webinar. Here with me, my colleagues. I'll represent them in a few seconds just. The topic of today's webinar is performance and pen testing with the partner, how to start. And here today with us are good friends of mine, Mike Grichucha. He is our program manager at QATestLab. I hope you know us. We are a QA testing company which provides different types of services in this field. And Marcel Dippenbroek, who is director of Inspire, good partners of us, a maiden company from the Netherlands, inspirators in test automation. So we'll discuss this topic about pen testing, about security testing, and the webinar will look like two parts. And in each section, we'll discuss the particular topic. So let's begin.
From me?
Yeah, Mike, please go ahead.
So hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we'll talk about two technical types of testing. It's penetration testing or simple pen testing and performance testing. First of all, I'd like to say that it is two quite different types of testing, but we decided to unite them in one webinar to pay your attention that they are very important and they are must-have in the stable system. If you want stable system, you should perform this type of testing. Let's talk in more details. Okay, so let's start from the pen testing. Penetration testing, what it is. It's type of testing that helps to define the level of software security. It's kind of sort of secure assessment. The main aim of penetration testing is detect potential vulnerabilities. How? By simulating the real malicious attacks. Actually, during the testing, penetration testing, specialists using the real copies of the production. It should be as close to real life as it possible. It is the type of testing that using copies of real databases, hardware, software, configurations, because we should imitate the real environment. Pen testing ensures a real evaluation of software security. The next important question is who needs pen testing? The answer is pen testing needs every company, every organization that takes care of the corporate data and personal information of their clients, of their customers. Pen testing is a must for banking system, for e-commerce systems, for the huge web portals. If your business, if your activity depends on data processing, then be sure that one day someone will try to hack the system and steal information. What for? To use against you or to sell it. So if you're working with personal data, pen testing is for you. Why to apply pen testing? First of all, pen testing detects the vulnerabilities of security system. It helps to ensure a well-protected transferring of data between different networks and between various systems. Pen testing is called to improve the security strategy of company. You can guess that security of personal information increase the reliability of the company. Also, pen testing helps to evaluate the impact of successful attacks on business. The main reason for pen testing, for using pen testing, is a huge variety of security issues. For example, if you monitoring the list of top securities, two top secure vulnerabilities prepared by OWASP, you would see that Such issues include injections, broken authentication, cross-site scripting, broken access control, security misconfiguration, etc. And all these effects, all this stuff could affect on your company reliability. Okay, hackers actually can get corporate data and personal information from the DNS servers, from the web servers, from the system of remote controls, networks, website, client soft. Vulnerabilities can appear because of various reasons actually. It's software and hardware flaws, it's configuration loopholes, even human factors, system complexity, weak passwords, insecure user inputs, poor risk management, and so on. And pen testing is called to detect issues and help to improve security of the system. Important question, and I think you have it. When to apply the pen testing? Next slide, please. When? Our answer is before the release. Why? Because sometimes before the release, a team forgot to close or block core infrastructure components, or for example, they are using outdated software. As for the first, for example, infrastructure components, during the development, dev team needs these components, so they are open. But before the release, everything should be closed. Again, with the outdated software, before the release, it should be up to date, because in the last versions of software, there are a lot of fixes of potential of the actual vulnerabilities. Nevertheless, pen testing executed once could not protect from the security issues. The reason, because vulnerabilities appears every day, from day to day. Also, now malicious attacks become more sophisticated. For every company, data protection should be constant and a continuous process. It's not one-off event. We think that penetration testing should be applied at least once a year. Also, it should be accompanied with the vulnerability management. This is a process of period scanning for vulnerabilities and network security. Such approaches guarantees optimal protection from attempts of the competitors. But one thing, if you're releasing new updates, if you have a lot of builds, you should apply penetration testing before every major releases. However, penetration testing doesn't guarantee that system is 100% protected because of zero-day vulnerabilities. Only a limited number of people is aware of such issues. I should explain what does it mean, zero-day vulnerabilities. It's vulnerabilities that have no protective mechanisms. For example, it is just appeared on the internet, and there is no protective mechanism to it yet. In major cases, for hackers sell exploits to zero-day vulnerabilities. You may have a question now: why should I perform penetration testing if it doesn't have 100% guarantee that my system will be protected? Because penetration testing helps you to minimize risk of security vulnerabilities. Besides, such defense in-depth approach assists in arranging proper security strategies and establishing a process in case-breaking attempts. Please, next slide. How can you benefit from a penetration testing? One of the goals is improve security of the system. but it starts just only after penetration testing is completed. You have evaluation of security, of software security, analysis of received data and corresponding reaction to these detected vulnerabilities will save you from malicious attacks. And you know what could be consequences of such attacks. Critical. For example, let's see example. You have a great service, maybe mobile banking, and once someone stole this database and now it is in competitors' hands, what can you get from this? Disclosure of personal confidential data, theft of account data with the information about, for example, financial transaction of the company, corruption of the critical data, theft of credentials for authentication, so on. So, penetration testing helps to determine security vulnerabilities and protect you from the huge losses. How can we avoid problems? Actually, we can ask for companies that are specialized particularly on the penetration testing. Using their services, you will get objective evaluation of software security. Also, if you don't have internet security testing, that it makes no sense to have a full-time staff team of highly skilled and field-specific specialists. So I hope that I gave you some basis of penetration testing, and that's all from my side.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's really amazing and impressive. I guess now Marcel, will tell us about how to cooperate with third-party specialists in order to ensure precise penetration testing. Marcel, please go ahead.
Thank you. Well, in general, it's wise to switch security test partners or to ask for a second opinion. And there are three good reasons to work with Inspire in combination with TestLab. First of all, we can provide you with a new, fresh view on your IT security. And it's good practice to switch partners because we can provide you with a new look, new glasses to look at your situation, and this will help you to avoid the blindness of your current partner. We can provide new insights and we will detect risks that were never detected before. Second reason is security is important. It is very important, and it's always wise to ask for a second opinion of another experienced partner. And third reason is that our security experts are highly trained and motivated employees. They have high technical skills and they use international tool sets as well. So this way we can ensure your systems and customer data are safe and stay secure. And the next slide shows some examples of the security tool sets that are being used, because security and vulnerability are not limited by the geographical boundaries. Security is an international issue, and our experts stay up to date and use the newest techniques and the newest tools to ensure your systems and customer data are safe and they stay safe. Some examples are mentioned in this slide. However, these security tools being used, they change frequently, just as hackers use new tools and invent new ways to endanger your data and find new exploits. So there are just some examples. There are many more security checks and security tools being used, and we use and we leverage the experiences gained at the penetration tests we have performed for our customers, of which many are classified. Okay. And next slide, topic will I will hand it over to dive into detail to performance testing. Michael?
Okay, guys. The second part is performance testing. It's, again, I'll repeat that it's very important quite important type of testing. Okay, let's start from the definition of performance testing. The aim of performance testing is to determine the software performance bottlenecks that affects user experience. It could be, for example, long response time, poor scalability, long load time, system downtime. Actually, performance bottlenecks can be caused by many reasons, like unoptimized work of databases, any server issues, operating system limitation, high traffic, so on. We will talk about this something later. So, performance testing is called to detect all mentioned bottlenecks and to assist in ensuring full scalability and stability. It helps to define how system behaves under different loads. It's simulating various user scenarios. Actually, performance testing have some types, like load, stress, endurance, volume, spike, scalability. What are the difference between them? Let's see the diagrams. So this is some types of performance testing. Looking at the diagrams, you can see the differences. I can say that the main differences is how we load the system, number of users, and for what time we are loading this system. Main question, why to apply for performance testing? You know that people's impatience is a main reason of performance testing. It's the main reason we're doing it, because everyone in our world expecting fast website, fast application. It should load as quick as possible. If not, people frustrated, they will choose competitors of this application or choose another website. For example, if you want to buy something and it's very long downloading, so I think you will close it and go to another website. You know, yesterday in our company we had such case. We get application for the testing. It was actually mobile game, and mobile games they should be fast because they're waiting for our reaction. We should react fast, but it was long time response. Because the first was loading for 3-4 minutes. Then after we tap on it, we should wait several seconds when we'll see our reaction. Actually, I think that the main part of the users will remove this application from their mobile device. Okay, so another example. You're performing order in the online store. On the last step, you want to apply the order and site crashes. Will you repeat the order on this website or you will go to another? Actually, if you need this thing, you will return. But if you have time, you'll postpone this buying or go to a competitor. Again, third example, it's Black Friday and Christmas shopping. It's a favorite time of us, and what could be if you're a user. You're going to, for example, use the discount during the Black Friday, and while this Black Friday started, site crashes. What will you do? You will visit another site. From the perspective of the owner of the site, what you will receive? Nothing. The number of clients will be reduced. You will lose your money, and the main thing, you will lose the trust of the customers. Okay, so performance testing helps to prevent such situations, such scenarios. It verifies whether system capacities meet all expected performance criteria. Testing provides with results about the soft stability, reliability, and scalability. It detects what elements could decrease the performance of your service, of your site, and so on. So performance testing helps to determine maximum load and number of simultaneous users the system can handle without losing the work speed of the service. So when to apply pen testing? It's recommended to start before the marketing of the product. You should remember that performance of the system and capacity of the system depends on not only software, it depends on a database, it depends on web services, a web server, it depends on network. So earlier you start, cheaper it will be. If you find any issues before the soft deploy, their fixing will be very expensive. So probably we should test servers even before the dev work starts. Okay, if you have a website, you may test pages while they are ready. It's also important to test every product build. If you're performing performance testing once, it could give you just approximate results. But even if you will use this service once, it provides you useful data about various system parameters and metrics you'd better to know before the release. Even with one performance testing, you'll see behavior under untypical loads. Also, it will help to analyze system requirement after unexpected behavior. So, how can you benefit from pen testing? Performance helps to protect your software from the fail. The matter is that constant crashes, downtime, slow speed cause the loss of clients. It decreases partners and investors' trust. And you know that it is very hard to recover your reputation in the eyes of your clients. So performance will help you to ensure software reliability and will increase your trust in the eyes of your partners, investors and customers. Thank you. It's all from me.
Yeah, thanks again, Mike. Very interesting. I guess now it's Marshall's part yet. Marshall, could you please tell us what is important to mention when talking about performance testing?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one of the title was how to start performance testing and how to start security testing, because all of our customers, they acknowledge that it is important. It is important to do security tests. It is important to do performance testing, but how to start, because everyone wants to make the IT systems secure and they want to make sure that they do to perform. But how to start if your customers yourself, you lack the time, or you do not have the people and the skills, and you do not have the test tools or the experience with the test tools to perform these tests. So how to start if you are not able to do it yourself? Well, working with Inspire and with QATestLab enables you to start fast without upfront investment, and even a free proof of concept is possible. So what is the recommended way of working together is that first of all we assign one contact person. That is an experienced test manager speaking English and Dutch and probably your local language as well, and that is your only counterpart. He or she is your only point of contact during the whole project, from day one until the final project meeting, and that includes the presentation of our findings and the presentation of our advice and the detailed reports and the graphics. You have one contact person. And for you focus on the questions you have, the insights and the metrics you need. The questions like, what is going to happen? What is the maximum number of users? What will happen if I add 100 or 500 employees? What if I merge two companies? What if I change network setting? What if I switch databases? What if I migrate to another application? That is the type of question you focus on. You focus on the question like, what are the security risks I have? You focus on the question, and we, point 3, we take care of everything else. But that includes the test execution, the analysis, the scripting, the hosting of machines, for instance at Amazon Dublin, the choice of the best performance test tool, the reporting. We take care of everything. And we can use more than 100 international test experts. And these test experts, they are very cost effective as well, because, well, very often they work at a rate of which is 1/4 to 1/5 of the West European rates of specialists. So we use the best people, and we use international people, and we use international tools as well. And some examples of the tools that can be used are being displayed here. So well-known tools like HP or SoapUI, GMate, and Naload, and many more tools. Some examples are being showed here, but the best thing is you do not have to worry about it. You focus on the questions you have, and we pick the experts and we pick the tools to perform these tests. And that is the way to make sure that your performance questions are being answered, and you can guarantee the performance and the stability of your IT systems. And in the final meeting, we present, your contact person is presenting all the detailed report and graphics. And another best practice is that start small. Do not test everything and at a whole, but start small, focus on 1 or 2 systems, focus on 1 or 2 questions. And these type of questions, we can even perform them in a free proof of concept. Other way to start small and start contacting us by sending us an email or giving us a phone call. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Marcel. By the way, yeah, dear attendees, please see the contact details of the companies. Really, please feel free to contact us if any need arises. But at this stage, I guess our audience has some really good questions regarding the topic which we discussed today. If you don't mind, Marcel, Mike, I'll just write these questions from the chat, and please try to answer it, yeah?
Actually, sorry, Mike wins. Never too late. I have unblocked my chat, and now I see all the questions. Yeah. Congratulations to me.
Yeah, so guys, please feel free to put pluses additionally to our chat. Yeah, Mike finally sees your questions. Okay, so I see the question from Edward Bailey. Hi Edward. I have a system that needs pen testing, but I have no ability to create hard and software duplicate for pen testing. What should I do? Any thoughts?
Marcel, can we perform, for example, penetration testing on another environment? For example, if it is not like on prod.
Well, one thing is for sure, that the real threat, the real hackers, they will perform a penetration test maybe even right now.
Yeah, so
what is your objection of setting ethical hackers you trust at work to do a penetration test if people you do not trust may execute a penetration test while we speak?
Yeah, I believe it's a good answer, really. If you think you may need pen testing, and actually main part of businesses may need pen testing, yeah, and in such case, please perform it on prod version, because hackers will try to threat prod version, surely.
Yes, I think that advice from my side is to postpone the release or close the website from the users and perform the backup of the system and try to perform pen testing on prod.
Yeah, Probably. Okay, we have a question from Alfred asking if I need performance testing and I'm going to take third-party team, should I pay for the tools? Guys, how it usually works? Yeah, Mike, on our end, how, or Marcel, yeah.
Well, should I use for the tool? Well, I think the best way is that you do not have to worry about the tools we pick. So there's a wide range of tools we can use, and that includes open source tools, that includes commercial tools. And I think that, well, you should focus on the questions you have, and depending on the questions you have, we advise you with the best and the most cost-effective tool to execute these tests. So there's not one answer to this question, but we will find the best answer to your question.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. The best idea is to satisfy actually the client's needs, yeah, and if there are some budget limitations or preference in some specific tools, yeah, we can be flexible.
In addition to this, we charge you for the project. So you focus on the questions and we execute the test and we provide you with the insights and the details and the report afterwards. So and if there are costs for a tool involved, that it's included in the project price, and we can give you an estimate upfront.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Marcel. Mike, anything to add?
No.
Okay, good. Have a question from Maria asking what guarantees will I have that pen testing was done in a proper way? Do you give guarantees on your work?
Perhaps I will answer. Yes, we give guarantees that the work was done in proper way. Besides, after the testing, we'll give you the detailed report. How was the pen testing done? What tools were applied for this pen testing? What issues were found? And our recommendations, what should be done to make a stable system.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Mike. A question from Kate. Does the mobile apps need pen testing? If yes, what is the most vulnerable platform? Android, iOS, Windows? Windows Phone, I guess.
Yeah.
I would very much like to answer this question. Because penetration testing can be done manually, but also there's a very nice security test tool specifically aimed at testing the security of apps. And this is a tool that originates from London, and it's able to make an analysis of an app, but all the security aspects in it, privacy aspects, the general rules like for the medical world IPAA, for the sales PCI DSS, and the frameworks, whether you do comply with these frameworks or not. So this is an aid for us to use, so we can do pen testing of your apps manually, and we can do pen testing by looking at the code and saying this needs to be adjusted, and it's very detailed. You have to adjust this in the code to make sure that you meet the European privacy rules, for instance. And it's very fast as well, so it provides you with a detailed report within 10 minutes. So if you would like to know more about this, I would be very glad to tell you about these two possibilities, manual testing of apps or the analysis of the app.
Yeah, thanks Marcel. Kate, once again, there are contact details on the slides. Yeah, please feel free to write in.
I'm sorry, guys. Marcel, what do you think? What is the weakest platform? It is Windows or Android?
Well, certainly it's not Apple, it's the most secure, but on Android there are many versions of Android as well. So there are many security issues found on the Android platform. As for Windows, well, the Xamarin platform is very widely used. But and in your opinion, what do you think?
I think Windows.
Yeah.
Obvious Windows.
But if you look at how many people, well, many people use iOS, many use Android, but Windows is not that widely used.
Yeah.
So then again, where should you focus on if you want to secure apps?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not much people using Windows, so it's not such an important to protect this app, neither to protect Android and iOS versions. Okay, so guys, we have a question from team. Do I have any risks while I'll ask third-party specialists for penetration? Like they will find vulnerabilities and use them against me? No? Mike, have we ever used vulnerabilities against our clients?
No, because before we start the project, we're signing on a lot of documents, and there are a lot of points that describes the situation. So we have no chance to do that.
Marcel, I hope you also had not such cases.
Yeah. So you can better hire an ethical hacker with this than let someone go at work which is not trusted. But yes, there are some procedures that we take care of, and we follow the guidelines very carefully to make sure that everything we find stays within us and the customer, and will not be this information will not go anywhere else, will not be shared, only with you as a customer.
And as usual, it's not, for example, rules for the during of the project, during the, for example, testing of the project. It's something that is in force after the years or after the finishing of the project, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Very detailed answer. We have a question from Eric. What does it mean, load profile in the performance testing, and how it can be created?
Actually, it is statistics of the visitors on the site, for example, if it's website. So it could be gathered by the owners of the site, and the peaks of the visitors, it could be the stage, the minimum stage of the, for example, performance testing. So this load profile is statistics. It could be for a day, for months, for a year, and so on.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Again, one more question from Kate, who is very active today. If my prior aim to have stable system, should I take a full-time person to perform unstoppable performance testing, or it's too much? I guess unstoppable performance testing is something interesting. So guys, do you have any ideas?
I will try to answer, but perhaps I will need the Marcel's help. So from my side, I think that if you had budgets for this, it's better to take, for example, dedicated specialist, and he will develop the cases and develop the I don't know, test coverage and perform the performance penetration testing from day to day. It's my opinion. I think that it's better. So if you have budgets, please. Marcel, what do you think about that?
Well, I'm not quite sure whether I understand the question right from Kate, but what is exactly the concern behind this question? I did not quite get it. Can you?
As I understood, what should we choose? Full-time specialist, for example, and he will unstoppable perform performance testing, yeah. Or we should, for example, ask a third-party company for one testing, for example, and that's all. Or it should be dedicated team for months.
Well, there's one other aspect that springs into my mind. That is, of course, you can do a performance test once, but you want to repeat this performance test after 3 weeks or after 3 months with a new release, maybe, or with a new database, with a new network setting. So what is important is that you make it generic, and then you can reuse, maybe slightly alter some parameters, but you can define a test and reuse the test after 3 weeks or after 3 months. So working with a partner like QATestLab, that ensures, make sure that you can execute the same test yourself. If you have these specialists in-house, but then again, the specialist might leave the company, the specialist might go for another employer, these specialists might get ill and sick and so on. So the question is how to repeat and how to build a trend over time, and that should be the concern. And whether it's an in-house specialist or an outside specialist like QATestLab, that doesn't matter that much.
I saw another question about the automation of performance testing. Marcel, did you meet before the automation of penetration testing, or it's kind of testing that couldn't be automated?
Well, as for penetration testing, there are some tool sets that can be used. Just like hackers use some automatic tools to generate passwords and to do some checks. There are some security tool sets that can be used by our specialists, our security specialists as well. However, there's always some human creativity involved and some human knowledge about specific systems. So as for penetration testing, you cannot automate everything. No, you can make use of tools, but you cannot automate all penetration tests. And, well, the same goes for scripting of performance tests. Of course, you can script an interaction with a system and then repeat it with 100 users, 500 users, 600 users. But there's also the human analysis of these systems. And so what type of action should you script and automate, and what is a typical real-life user behavior that you want to simulate using test tools. So yes, tools can help you in performing an analysis, but there's also well, the human experts and the mind and the creativity is needed as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, I hope it will be really helpful for Max here who asked the question. I have a question from Georgi who asks, which tool do you use for performance testing?
Well, I presented it I presented on the slide some tools we can use, and it depends on your system and it depends on your type of application. But commonly used tools like the commercial tools like HP, but there are also Nailload is being used, BlazeMeter, SoapUI. There are several tools we can use, and then again it starts with bullet point 2, your question and your metrics and the insights you do need. And the tool, well, it is important to help us in making this analysis and helping us to to make these detailed reports and graphics, but the tool is not the aim itself. We want to provide you with insights and metrics and answers to your questions, and we can pick any tool you want. There are several good tools available.
Yeah, I believe it answered the question. And another question from Georgi. How to begin pen testing? What knowledge is required to become a penetration tester?
That's for you, Michael.
Give me a second. Yeah, I was muted. About the knowledges. Actually, I think that you should start from the courses, because home studying, in such case, I think that it's better idea. You should go to the courses and take the basis of the knowledges regarding these technical kinds of testing. I don't know how to answer.
Yeah, I believe the main idea is a lot of practice. Yeah, try to attend different courses, webinars, and so on. Try to take part in, I don't know, some real projects, and it will help you to grow and to become specialist in the field much quicker than getting any knowledge from books or something like that.
And again, to become a good specialist, I think that you need not knowledges, you need wish and desire. Okay, it's all for me.
Okay, and one more question from Georgi. What is the best open source performance testing tool in your opinion? Marcel, how do you think?
Well, then again, yeah, what is the best tool? Well, the tool that provides you with answers. There are some tools that are very good, but there are only a few people who know about them. So that's also a question. So are you able to find the persons to operate this tool or to adjust the scripts you have made? So if I look at the tools that are widely used, then JMeter and BlazeMeter and also Neotis is building on the market, is very rapidly gaining market share. Of course, HP is capable of doing a lot of performance testing, but then again, it's a more expensive tool and it's not always easy to use. So it depends really, and it starts with the question you and the systems you have. What is the best tool? But well, some commonly and widely used tools are mentioned here, like JMeter, BlazeMeter, Neotis.
Yeah, thanks, Marcel. And a question from Alexei, who asks, performance testing usually needs a lot of resources to generate behavior of really many users. Do you have enough hardware servers to generate Black Friday behavior?
It's a very good question. And well, again, we start with the question you have, and very often we pick the tool of choice to generate this load, and that could be an open source tool with no cost, and we make the scripts to simulate the real user behavior, and then we generate the load. Very often it's being done by using, for instance, Amazon Web Services in Dublin, and we use these servers to generate the load on your system. But if you want, we can also generate the load starting from other locations or from all over the world.
Yeah, thanks, Marcel. Okay, if I haven't missed anything, so it's all questions we have up to now.
A lot of questions today.
Yeah, I believe it's because really interesting topic. good speakers. Thank you guys for actually such a really interesting presentations, really interesting facts, and very good answers for such questions. For our audience, really thanks for such interesting questions, for visiting us today. Yeah, please see once again the contact details. Please feel free to send any questions you might have after the webinar to Marcel, to us. We'll be always glad to answer, to provide you with any required information, and hopefully will be helpful for you, and as well as this webinar was helpful. Yeah, so thanks Marcel, thanks Mike. I guess we have to finalize today's webinar. I just have to wish all our attendees a great day and a perfect week. So bye guys.